Hey folks! I have built a new e-bike from a specialized Epic and paired it with a CYC motor. First I do a bit of fun riding, to show you what this bike is capable of. In the second part of the video I show which components I use for the build. And at the end I tell you a little bit about the pros and cons of this CYC motor kit. The chosen motor is an X2-Pro from CYC. I use it at 52 volts and 40 amps, which gives me a power output of just over 2000 watts. I installed connectors for two battery options. The frame battery is mounted here, but for off-road riding I use this Anderson connector for a small backpack battery. The display is multicolored, bright enough and has the buttons for changing the driving modes and speed levels integrated. For this build I decided to use a thumb throttle on the left side. I use a 9-speed Shimano X9 shifter. In our opinion, 9 gears at 2000 watt are more than enough. However, you cannot use the smallest 2 sprockets at full power with the throttle, they would not withstand the load. The freewheel crank is of high quality, and the transmission from the engine to the crank is fully protected by carbon parts. Instead of the included chain, we have changed directly to a silent chain made by KWS. The CYC X2 controller is integrated in the motor mount behind the motor. The rear shock is from Fox, and is equipped with this brain valve, which is mounted on the rear wheel and ensures that only shocks are absorbed which come from the terrain. So the shock does not compress when pedaling, or when the chain is pulled by the engine, which can sometimes be a problem with strong mid-drive bikes. For the rear brake I have decided to go with the Tektro Auriga e-brake on this build. The front brake is an Avid Elixir without sensors, so I can do some drifting when I slightly pull the brake and apply some throttle. The suspension fork is a 120 rock shocks, which is okay for light off-road riding. Overall, I am very happy with this build. The bike weighs less than 20 kilograms without battery, because both the bike and the motor kit are very light. I use it as a fun machine for trips into nature. And the 2000 watts are a good compromise of enough power, range and lightweight, which is possible due to the high-quality component selection. As you can now imagine, the lightweight is an important factor for me. because for my preferred type of riding I like the agility and responsiveness which I would not have with a heavy bike. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the CYC Motorkit. The Motorkit is quite easy to install. The power-to-weight ratio is very good, and since the pedal assist is controlled by torque sensor, it feels very natural. By the way, I have retrofitted the torque sensor, which for me is also a pro. Because on the one hand, the advice and customer service by CYC was good and easy, and on the other hand, in the past, CYC have made several upgrade parts available for their older kits. So you don't have to buy a new version of the Motorkit again, but can buy the improved parts separately and change them. The controller is another part that was afterward upgraded from an X1-Pro to the X2-Pro. The buttons integrated into the display not only make it possible to switch the pedal assistance level, but you can also use them to limit the power of the throttle grip, which has been well integrated on the software side. This is something that other manufacturers could take a cue from. With the first X1 controller, performance was weak and acceleration was slow. With the upgrade to the X2 controller, both power and acceleration are where they should be. But the response time for both pedal assist and throttle is slow, which makes the response unnatural and leads to less control over the bike. I have contacted CYC. At the time of this video, they try to help me fixing it by a software update. Or maybe there is a way to adjust this via the smartphone app. But the app in the App Store is currently only available for the newer X3 models. The engine is not loud, but it is also not as quiet as other mid-drive motors like the BBS HD. The transmission of the motor by the cart chain is well done for the high torque of the motor, but its open design makes it louder than fully enclosed systems. The wiring of the electrical components is plug and play, but there is still some wiring to hide in order to achieve a clean design, which seems to be better solved with the newer X3 models. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, you are welcome to subscribe. I also appreciate questions and comments and will gladly answer them. Take care and see you next time.